Get away.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the MPGL Season 7. It's going to be Game 2 in the best of 3 between MVP HOT6 and Energy Pacemaker. Winner goes through the Grand Finals. Loser has a bit more to slog through, but MVP currently the one-game lead.
Yeah, so that was a very strong game coming out from MVP HOT6 in the first game. Energy Pacemakers, it looked good for them during the early game, but all of a sudden they just completely fell off from the aggression from MVP. Can they come back in the second game, though, with a second pick PL?
Well, I'm personally rooting for Energy Pacemaker this game, mostly so that we could go to a third game. That's all I want. But MVP taking a little bit curious turn as far as these bans are concerned. It's going to be a Lina pick for them once again, but they actually banned out the Enchantress, which was, I believe, completely untouched in the last game.
She's a very interesting hero. She had a bit of a change and also a buff, you could say, with the change to how attack speed works when you are slowed. So with the Enchantress, sorry, the old way it worked was if you managed to get your attack off, even though you're incredibly slowed, you could still do it from a really long range, whereas now, if you're too far from your target, the attack animation cancels, and that's a massive buff to Enchantress, but I don't know if it's actually worth a ban.
Yeah, especially a first ban. Like, maybe if you're in the last phase or something like that and the enemy team still needs a support hero, then Enchantress might be looking a little bit better, but Energy Pacemaker, they're going to grab the Earthshaker, so take that one away from MVP. Also, well, it's a good hero for them to have themselves, but it's also going to be a Phantom Lancer pick for them. So if a game should go to a late stage, it's going to be hard to top a PL. And it looks like MVP, they're not really going to try to contest that, at least not yet. They're going to try to get in under the PL and end the game with hopefully farmed Leshrac.
This is interesting. Are you surprised that Leshrac has suddenly risen out of nowhere because of this new patch?
I mean, he was always a decent hero. I think the potential for getting a couple of new items, I think he got slight buffs, but nothing really too substantial. But also the fact that towers are actually worth going for, and you can actually death ball as a legitimate strategy now. So Leshrac, as a hero, that's always been what he was best at. Now what he's best at is actually more useful to actually win the game.
Okay, so we're just going to go through our second phases of bans. So we're going to get Brewmaster eliminated from the pool by MVP. Gyrocopter going to be the primary ban from Energy Pacemakers. A lot of teams, they've discovered how strong this Gyrocopter is, and all of a sudden he's worth these bans.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him tear up the previous games from yesterday especially. I don't think we've seen the Gyrocopter today, but he's still a good hero, guys. Got slightly tweaked in the newest patch. Slight movement speed nerf, I believe, or an intelligence mana pool nerf, something around those lines. But for Energy Pacemaker, right now, already with the Phantom Lancer picked up, they're going to be looking for heroes that can hold down the fort for the early mid-game stages. Because when you pick up a PL, odds are you're going to be fighting 4v5 for the majority of the game.
I don't know, the PL rework, it makes me feel like he's able to fight earlier. Because you remember the old PL, he was literally just the farming rat. He would always literally sit in lane for 80% of the game just to farm. And once you reach AM levels of farm, all of a sudden you had a PL fighting in those team fights. But now, PL has a lot of fighting potential. Would you expect to see him in this game?
I mean, you can fight with PL, but you never really want to, right? Like, if desperate times, then they call for desperate measures. And it seems like MVP are going to force desperate times upon EP because they are going for this super aggressive, again, very bursty kind of strategy. For EP, they're going to grab the Lion. They have CC galore right now, and when you're facing up against a core Leshrac or even potentially a core Lina, Finger of Death is such a great tool. Just get rid of the problem immediately. That's what we saw in the previous game, or previous set, rather.
Both teams putting a lot of emphasis on those really high damage nukes. So Lion and Lina are going to be duking it out. Oh, MVP. They're going to be pulling out the Night Stalker. I sense early aggression with this.
Yeah, I wonder how aggressive they're going to be. It really is a mystery. This is really where for MVP, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to like grab an Enchantress right now. Like, obviously it's not going to happen, but this is where an Enchantress or some sort of additional pushing hero would be a lot better for MVP. So maybe they're just going to sit on the Leshrac and maybe they'll just be okay with that, but they need a mid lane hero, maybe. Of course, Leshrac or Lina can both go to that role, but here's where DK becomes a lot better. Here's where Chen is still in the pool. He could also be picked up. MVP need a way to capitalize on this early aggression and actually take objectives.
Yeah. If you look at the heroes on Energy Pacemakers, if MVP starts picking up those tanky heroes, you mentioned the DK being one of them, if they go for those tanky heroes, it's going to be much harder for them to kill because the two support to essentially... Wait, so who's going to be playing the position 3? Is that core Earthshaker? This is interesting. So we've got an Earthshaker, Lion, and Ancient Aberration, but if you put those heroes in the position plus the 1 for Energy Pacemakers to create the space for the PL, it's countered by those high HP heroes. It's all burst damage. They don't have any sustained damage.
Yeah, our energy pacemakers, their lanes are going to be, at the very least, a little bit weird. I would say, in order of likeliness, as far as taking a core role, it's Shaker, then Lion, then AA. You can do some weird stuff with like mid AA, mid Lion, something like that, but they will be outclassed really quickly up against Leshrac, who's just non-stop spamming that lightning. So might be a little bit less than ideal situation for energy pacemaker. This Ancient Apparition pick, I'm really not convinced. Like, they banned it out last game because they saw healing on the other end, or someone banned it out last game because there was healing on the other end. That's really where AA comes in the best, but for right now, he could set up for Cold Feet. That's nice, I guess, but that's about it.
Just some Cold Feet. But Broodmother's going to be the 4th pickup for MVP, so we're going to see our big Spider Lady this game. And you look at energy pacemakers, they don't have too many spells that they want to spend to kill those broodlings. So this Broodmother, if she can go out of control during the laning phase, I find it very difficult for energy to even attempt to kill that Broodmother.
Yeah, I mean, they have some opening stuns, the eventual Hex, Blink Hex from Lion, Blink Fissure from Earthshaker, Blink Echo Slam, of course, the Dream, as far as killing off that Broodmother. But early on, Broodmother is going to walk all over these heroes for Energy Pacemaker. And this is the hero that will be a nuisance for EP. They really lack the AoE right now to deal with this Broodmother effectively. And if you look at the rest of the heroes for MVP, it's not like they're going to lack damage. It's not like they need a 5th hero. They're completely okay with just Night Stalker, Leshrac, Lina +1 to take a 4v5 for the majority of the game.
So the last 2 bans are Storm Spirit and DK. So the DK you mentioned not going to be played today, whereas Storm Spirit was quite interesting. We don't see too many Storms, but would have been a nice initiating hero for Energy Pacemakers. Bristleback, final pickup though. Sniper Frontliner as well as some DPS. But what do you think about this draft?
I mean, MVP, their goal is pretty clear. So I think for MVP, their draft is progressing pretty much as best as it could possibly be. Maybe the DK being banned out is going to be a little bit of an inconvenience for them, but you can get around that. For EP, it doesn't seem like they have a real game plan. Like, obviously up against what MVP have, the game plan is first and foremost survive, and that's going to be really difficult. But how are you going to survive? Like, Bristleback is a pretty good early mid-game hero. Core Lion or something like that is decent, but MVP grab a Drow Ranger. And that one I'm not too sure about.
She's a strong, I guess she provides utility because she has the Gust, she has a slow, she's going to give some extra damage to the Lina and the Leshrac, but it feels a bit quirky with this draft. There's not too much synergy with it, but it's going to give them a lot of pushing potential now with that Drow Ranger.
Yeah, Leshrac and Lina, though they do have some pretty good attack range, they're not really all about attacking, like right-clicking. They're usually just about their skills, staying alive, positioning for Leshrac and Lina as well. And Night Stalker, Broodmother, well, they don't really interact at all with the Drow Ranger, so that's usually why we see Drow Rangers, you know, at the very most, I would say, 1 melee hero on the team. But having 2 and having them be, you know, very independent of the Drow Ranger might be a little bit difficult for MVP, but if anything, that's like the weakest part of their game, and then the rest of the game is extremely strong.
My only issue with Energy Pacemaker's draft is they don't really have any heroes aside from the PL to get into the fights, because you expect that Bristleback to be the one to jump into the middle of the fights, just sit there, soak the damage, throw those cruel sprays, but I feel like there's going to be kiting issues. Because it's a melee hero, he doesn't typically pick up a Blink or a Force Staff, so just getting into those fights is already going to be difficult for Energy Pacemaker, especially when they're supposed to be protecting and creating space for the PL. So let's introduce the players.
Potentially rough times ahead for EP, but guys, this is game 2 in the best of 3. EP going to be loading out on the Radiant. We got 2 playing the Earthshaker, going up towards top lane, off lane Shaker. Very interesting to see. Fan is going to be on the Phantom Lancer with Lei on the Ancient Apparition. Old Chicken is on the Bristleback, and that leaves LT on the Lion.
Okay, so playing for MVP Phoenix, we're going to have Heen taking over the Lina. Yet again, he played Lina last game, so expectations for his Lina to be extremely high. On our Lesh, we're going to have MP on the Drow Ranger. We're going to have Forev, whereas towards the bottom section, we have Sunbeat taking role of our very scary Broodmother. And lastly, on the Night Stalker, we're going to have Jurax. So let's talk about Jurax really quickly. Last game, he played the Earthshaker, and how many plays did he make?
Too many to keep track of. Like, I actually have no clue. Like, double digits at least, but the difference between Night Stalker support and Earthshaker support as far as gameplay is concerned, as like style is concerned, is very different. As a Night Stalker, you charge in, you don't really care, but as Earthshaker, you're playing the positioning game, so Jerax has to switch gears in a big way, and it might take him a little bit of time to actually adjust to playing such a vastly different support hero.
So are we expecting this to be a position for roaming Night Stalker, considering his role last game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they should really be switching it up. The Broodmother obviously is going to be doing Broodmother things, and MP, well, he played a pretty sick Shadow Fiend in the last game. Seems like they're just going to have Night Stalker maybe take control of the jungle, maybe apply a little pressure. Void is a okay setup for Split Earth, but yeah, Jarex, he's most likely just going to play this supporty Night Stalker that we see so much of nowadays.
So while both teams are just going to continue on farming, in this mid lane, if this was a pub game, if you saw Night Stalker Leshrac mid, what would you think?
I would think, yes, I just won. Like, all my MMR is safe. Give me your MMR points, nerds. But, I mean, it's not really the strongest dual lane, but obviously it's not actually going to be a dual lane for most of this. Jarex is going to poke in and out, and he's not just going to stick in the lane. That's not something that you ordinarily would expect from a Night Stalker, really ever, unless he's a core Night Stalker. So MP is going to have, you know, the time of his life pretty much. Lightning Storm is just going to keep on poking this Phantom Lancer. And for EP, the Ancient Apparition Phantom Lancer dual lane, it's not exactly the strongest as far as dual lanes are concerned, mostly because PL doesn't really have a great way of making use of this Chilling Touch.
He doesn't really want to be anywhere near the Drow Ranger as well. If he gets caught with the Gust as well as the Frost Arrows, it's going to be very problematic. Down bottom though, this matchup, the Broodmother Bristleback matchup, who would you expect to win that?
Well, there is one Sentry available right now, and it looks like that's about it. That Sentry not going to do a ton, so for the most part, you know, this support line isn't really going to be super hands-on. Sunbi even has a Sentry Ward to counter ward if need be. This is usually a pretty even lane, but in a lane that gets worse for the Bristleback as time progresses. Sunbi, once he grabs a Soul Ring, and with already the recipe, is clearly going to go for that, is going to be able to non-stop spam into Old Chicken, unless he dies right now. That could be a bad situation. That should also not be happening, but yeah, Sunbi, the lane is going to get better for him. He just has to weather the early game.
If Sunbi went north just that tiny bit more and got that one more Cruel Spray, I think that would have been the death of Old Chicken. Sorry, if Old Chicken went north, he probably would have been able to get the kill on the Sunbi, but a couple of jukes here and there, and both solo farmers are doing relatively okay. Game will be paused though.
For no reason as well, so hopefully it's nothing too crippling, but yeah, for Sunbi, he had like, I think 4 stacks of Quills on him, so yeah, that is going to do a hell of a lot of damage for the 5th Quill Spray, I guess. Bring up Basilius armor or not. So Sunbi is going to have a decent time as this game progresses, and up towards the top lane, Drow Ranger just by herself doesn't exactly need a ton of help, especially versus an Earthshaker as an off-lane hero. This can be a lane where MVP just leave the Drow Ranger to her own devices because you really don't need to help her.
I've got a bit of an issue with this Earthshaker though, because he was pretty much pushed into that off lane. He's not going to get too much farm and levels. Would you expect him to go for rotational ganks to grab EXP and gold? Because he's not going anywhere near the creep wave, especially with a Drow and a Lina nearby.
I mean, they can rotate in a big way, and actually catch MP. Oh, Fissure gonna wall off the wrong side, though. MP can be A-okay. This is essentially just a support trick here. Like, it seems like EP are just completely abandoning their top lane. I don't think they really have to be. They can juggle their lanes a little bit in order to make sure that they're getting value out of all 3 of these lanes, but that'll require a lot of initial upfront investment with TP scrolls and time spent rotating. So now we have this roaming Earthshaker, which is threatening, but as a pick in and of itself is not exactly what you want to be not what you want to be doing, especially when you have an Ancient Apparition and a Lion also on the same team.
So interesting decision for EP, but we'll see how they cope, because in the meantime, they've got 2 heroes that are benefiting from some sort of farm, and MP, that's the Bristleback down bottom.
This might be First Blood. MP is going to get the Split Earth out, but so many heroes here. Suddenly 1v4, and I don't like your odds there if you're the 4 LT, though. He's looking for a courier. Hide, little courier. Don't move. Don't breathe. Lion doesn't see it. Does he
may see it?
No. Okay, I think the Lion is going to get out. I think the courier is going to survive, but it is First Blood going the way of EP. It did require 4 heroes, though. That's a lot of burn time.
It's a lot of wasted energy, if you think about it, because with that time, you could have been using it to stack the jungle. You could have been using it to roam around, just be a constant threat, but for EP, though, just to get that kill on their PL, who is going to be that most... Sorry, it was actually on the Lion, but getting that kill just to help their draft, you could say, function a little bit earlier than it will, but Jarex, Nighttime has popped. He's only level 2 though, so he's not really going to have too much of an impact unless he goes for a squishy hero and all. It's a very squishy hero here, but unfortunately they do part ways.
It doesn't get any squishier than a lion, doesn't get any squishier than a lion at half HP. So that would have been a kill if he was just a little bit quicker. Does have the boots, but only level 2 again. This is not really what we see usually for Night Stalkers for support Night Stalkers rather. The first nighttime is level 3 at least. He's going to catch up to this lion, but yeah, diving the tower up against a hero with Hex and Spike, a little bit too much to ask for. So Jerax is going to fall short in his first nighttime phase. I want to say he's going to get nothing done, in fact.
Yeah, this is the unfortunate part when you draft a position 4 Night Stalker. If you're not getting levels in gold, you're not going to be getting anything to really help you during the first nighttime and going to be spotted by the lion. He's sandwiched in by Fan, Ellie, and LT, and that's an easy pickup there going in the way of Energy Pacemakers. So 2 kills so far going in the way of our Chinese squad.
Night Stalker all the way over here for some reason. That's not really where you want to be this early on in the game as any hero. So Night Stalker kind of asking for it there, and EP actually find a way to get the Phantom Lancer in close enough. That's what Lion and Phantom Lancer can do, and so that's what the Ancient Apparition Chilling Judge, that's what that does in total. So they do kill off the Night Stalker, but again, it's a support pickoff, not really a huge deal for EP, but the fact that they just got a free one, it was pretty much room service for them, is going to mean that they don't really have to invest the movement from heroes to actually get that kill. Therefore, they're right back to farming.
So down bottom, we have Sunby cutting the creep wave, and it's making Old Chicken's life a little bit more difficult. He just has to kite the creep wave constantly, otherwise he's going to be losing HP. He does have a Ring of Health though, so he has some sort of sustain in the lane, but it's not going to be able to last forever. And Old Chicken, he's going to bring the creep wave towards his own creeps, but all of a sudden you don't have a creep wave anymore. They've been turned into spiderlings.
He's going to get fissured, hexed, and spiked as well. Cold Feet might even proc it will, but they can't actually go through the fissure. Now the Gust through onto the Ancient Apparition. They're going to turn things around with the huge damage from Forehead and get the kill. Now here comes Jerax. They want the line. They'll get him as well, and the Earthshaker so desperately wants Fred, but the fissure won't even do it. He doesn't even hit it, and now he's just going to get kited to hell and back. He's going to die as well. That was a smoke gank from EP, and, well, it's a double kill for 4F.
That was 3 kills for nothing. And it's 6 minutes into the game. That is massive, and the game's equalized. All of a sudden, MVP, they were down 2 kills, but they get 3 kills literally handed to them on a silver platter. That's pretty much what Energy Pacemakers did in that top lane. So massive misplay, but can they keep up the momentum for their PL? I have a feeling they want Fan to fight early with the team. They realize they can't just have him constantly farming by himself. He has to participate in the team fights and get farmed that way, but they want to be aggressive. There's going to be the slow onto MP, but Jerax is nearby. He's going to slow down the PL, but look, chasing after a fish. They won't be able to get him though at MP. He might actually catch Fan out here. The Doppelwalk is still on cooldown. 1 second left. They do lose him though. Split Earth going to take him down. Misplay again from Energy Pacemakers. They want to go for kills, but in the end, they lose their own heroes in the process.
When you have your mid lane hero die, no matter who it is, it's a bad situation, but if PL needs more farm than what he's getting right now. He's almost being completely doubled up in CS by the Dry Ranger. A little bit less than that, but still PL not really farming spectacularly, struggling to get these kills, and Jerax with, again, a super efficient play. Night Stalker usually isn't really a high skill cap hero, but avoiding the correct target, then getting in there with the body block, all that, just enough to save that Leshrac, and then, of course, turning around for the kill onto the most important target to kill right now on the EP side. MVP, they're just, you know, they're okay with the status quo. They're not going to do too much to change it unless that involves getting more kills or getting more towers, and it looks like they're looking to set up for a kill on the bottom lane if someone tries to intercept the Spider Army.
We may see action happening in the middle lane. They're going to slow down the Lion, but MP, he's just going to give up that haste rune. It would have been very nice to pick up on a Leshrac, although down towards bottom. Are we going to see something? Got a couple of heroes nearby.
Well, Old Chicken has been free farming the entire game, and for MVP, it looks like that won't sit well for them. There is no nighttime on the Night Stalker, however, that doesn't change the fact that Void does straight up damage in a point-click fashion. Old Chicken is probably going to be dove relatively soon. The Spiderling army, I actually can't select it, so I don't know how big it is, but rest assured, it's a big army, and Old Chicken doesn't really have much to prepare for us. Here comes Spiderlings. LSA free-handed, going to land now. Old Chicken completely surrounded. He's going to get a little bit of backup there. Spike onto everyone, and the Quill Spray will kill off most of the spiders. Old Chicken's still alive. LSA will help him disengage. Heen can turn around for Dragon's able to kill off the Bristleback. Now he's going to get kited a little bit. He's going to try to buy a little more time for Jerax to initiate. LSA is there, which will connect onto 2 at the same time as the Spike, but Heen, he's stuck in a corner, and he's going to be the casualty of war. But still, it's a 1-for-1 that it trades Alina for a Bristleback, and they might even get a little bit more because Earthshaker, he has a haste rune, but he's going to run into a Split Earth, and the nuke damage is huge. They kill off the Shaker. This Earthshaker is not going to do that much, and they also find a very slow Ancient Apparition. He has literally no items, And, well, even if he had boots right now, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't get out of there. Lightning for the kill, or injection for the kill, just as good. It's a 3-for-1 for MVP.
That's a big loss for the Ancient Apparition. He was so close to getting boots, and before he died, he said, okay, fine, I surrender. I have to buy a Sentry Ward and TP Scroll before I lose all my gold. So the Ancient Apparition really struggling, although down towards the bottom lane, Sunby putting a lot of pressure onto these two heroes at the Spiderlings. I wonder how much gold he gave away during that gank though, because the Lion, he just earth spiked all of them to oblivion once they were softened up.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 150, 200-ish gold, which is quite a chunk of change for whoever actually got that CS. Probably the Bristleback looking at their CS right now, but it's a lot of gold, and that does tend to add up, but if they can't take a trade after that, then that gold that you lost in the Spiderlings almost going to become irrelevant. 4-Ev up towards top lane is going to Gus TP out. He'll be just fine. And, well, in the meantime, while that fighting was happening on the bottom lane, 4-Ev was taking a Tier 1 tower, applying a lot of pressure to the Tier 2 tower, and MVP now can start thinking about just going for straight-up pushes. Edict on the Shrek, only level 1, but that's really all you need.
Down bottom, the tower is definitely going to drop down. They have to deny it. This is more and more control to the Broodmother, if you think about it. EP, they haven't really done anything to control Sunby. They've just left the Broodmother to his own devices with the Bristleback, and Bristol can't do anything to kill off or even control the Brood. So more space to Sunby. He's going to be a nuisance, but the rest of his team, they're going to be busy elsewhere. They're all congregated in the middle lane. They're going to bring everybody TP into the Bristleback as well. They're going to catch Heen though. Bit of awkward positioning. He wanted to go for a backstab with the LSA, but unfortunately sandwiched in by 3 heroes.
Yeah, didn't even have enough mana to pop the Laguna Blade. If he, I mean, that wouldn't have gotten him a kill, but still, you don't even have the mana. So a little bit of questionable positioning from the Lina. Didn't have backup there either, but it's a free kill for EP. At this point, single free kills like that, not really going to cut it, because MVP are sitting at a 5k plus lead in gold, 4k plus in experience. That's not the largest amount, but for 11 minutes in the game, that is a lot of advantage.
So how's our PL actually looking? Is 59 CS, 20 Zeneyes, but the amount of farm he has compared to the top 3 farmers on both sides, it's very minimal. You would expect your PL to have a little bit more than this, but he's been constantly pressured, so he can't actually farm up as much as he wants to. So now he has to find farm in other less safer lanes and also jungle it up. But this PL going to come online a little bit later than he would like to.
Yeah, for EP, they put their eggs in the Bristleback basket instead of the Phantom Lancer basket, and that is fine if Bristleback was going nuts right now. But with a score of 0-1-2 with a Vanguard, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, he's tanky, yeah, he's very difficult to kill, but he's not actually doing enough for the EP side. They're essentially down this Phantom Lancer and also down the Bristleback as a useful hero because just not doing anything. So MVP, they have 5 heroes that are all actively doing things. EP, they have like 3.5.
3.5? Who's the half?
I mean, just, they're all split. It's,
okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna do division here.
Okay, so we're going to have an objective taken by the side of MVP, and, well, Energy, they can't really contest it. They probably don't even know what's happening because it's so early, but, well, this is going to be another advantage going in the way of MVP. EP, though, they're just going to capitalize on the fact that they have some space, and they're just going to keep on farming on these important heroes.
They need a Blink Dagger on Shaker so badly. Like, we saw the effectiveness of Jarek's Surf Shaker. Once he grabbed that Blink, it, like, well, I don't want to say won MVP of the game, but it certainly had his fair share at contributing to it. For the core Earthshaker to be 13 minutes in with boots and nothing else, well, that's less than ideal to say the least for EP, especially when the fight is going to be coming to them. The amount of farm space you have as Shaker when you have also a Bristleback and PL on the team is not that high, so he needs to get this Blink Dagger up and he needs to get it now, but I don't really know if that's going to come in time because the push is not stopping.
It's going to be very difficult for him to get him soon because if he dies, that means it's going to delay it by so much, and even the Lion's trying to save up as much gold as he can for a Blink Dagger. The 2 supports, if they can get it, it's going to give him massive impact. It's going to give them a way to get into the fights, to safely throw off whatever they need to, and hopefully control up these heroes from MVP. But for the moment, 4-Ev, they're just going to keep on whacking on the tower. He's just going to throw a Dragon Slave to harass down our Chinese squad for a little bit, and all of a sudden, MVP, they're just going to back up. Looks like they're just going to back up at this point. They just do a little bit of tower damage, and they say, okay, we did what we need to. We're just going to do whatever we want at this point. We don't have to finish the game right now.
Yeah, and while they're pushing over in the mid lane, Sunbi is doing Broodmother things, exactly what you would expect from the hero. Pushing down the tier 2, down to half HP, but you know, they're splitting EP's attention right now. And EP, they're not really powerful enough to take numbers advantage, or to take fights without the numbers advantage. They're just getting pulled apart because they're so far behind. If EP had 7 players on their team right now, they would be able to handle this, albeit barely. But with 5 heroes, and with any hero who's going to tango with Sunbi most likely just going to straight up die unless it's a Bristleback, they just don't have the manpower right now.
They can't even deal with the Broodmother. They haven't really done anything to Sunbi. They're going to send the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast to kill off some of the Spiderlings, but it won't kill all of them, just the Spiderites, I believe. And oh, wow.
Over in mid, they're just going to jump right into the Shaker. It is still nighttime. Forev's going to get hexed up, but he has the Aegis. Finger of Death is going to be deployed, which is going to be taking down that Aegis, and they actually have a lot of heroes here. Jerax might even get frozen to the floor. Gust is going to help Forev disengage. Jerax is also going to be A-okay. They want Forev so badly, and they will get him as well. It's going to take quite a long time, but while that's happening, bottom tier 2 dies, mid lane tier 2 dies as well, and the Earthshaker dies. So MVP, it's a steep cost, obviously, but it is pretty darn good anyway, and the LT is going to run straight into a whole bunch of heroes. Do they even notice? There it is, Dragon Slave, Pulse Nova, and the Split Earth, free-handed, no big deal. That's going to get that kill. They're also going to run to Fan. Pulse Nova still up right now. They're going to go straight for Keen. Elsa is going to slow down Fan. Shaker is going to land the fissure as well, and MP is going to help disengage with Jerax, who's for some reason is still here. Straight TP out, no way to cancel this. Leshrac is going to survive.
As well as Jerax and the Night Stalker as well, so safe exit for MVP. They do lose some important heroes though, in particular that Drow Ranger. They do lose the Lina. They grab a Lion kill, but it's very minimal. Very, very minimal. They need some more kills than just this. They're going to run into Sunbi with Old Chicken, but he doesn't have any sort of detection to try and chase after him. Do they have any sort of detection if they do catch the Broodmother? I don't think they do.
Yeah, it's not exactly good enough. Like, Broodmother, she hasn't died a single time. She's gone for the Vlad's build, which is not something we ordinarily see from Broodmothers, but it does help shove the lane a big way. And oh no, Ancient Apparition, you don't want to be there. Even if the Broodmother wasn't there, her Spiderlings could have done the job there. So AA walking into a bad place.
All you can say is hard life. Very hard life. If you're dying to spiders, hard life.
And it's so hard to, I mean, it's not that rare to see, actually. Like, you can't, well, first of all, they didn't see the spiders, but also, if you do see the spiders, they are so clumped up that you don't even know if it's 1 or 20. So, yeah, it's hard to evaluate that in and of itself. And AA just walking into the wrong place at the wrong time. As I said, if anyone but the Bristleback goes down to this bottom lane, they have got to be really scared for their life. Maybe Lancer can doppelgang out of it, but even then, it's not a guarantee escape.
So at this point, Energy, they're so confined to their side of the map and also within their base at some points. What do you think their game plan is? Are they just trying to farm up these items? They have Blink on the Earthshaker. How close are they to getting something on their Lion? He's getting closer. He's not that close, but do you think these items are going to turn the game in favor of Energy?
Well, it's going to give them a fighting shot. Now that they have a way of initiating fights, Blink Earthshaker, not exactly a Bat Rider, but it's still pretty darn good. And a Blink on a Lion, which I'm assuming he's going to go for, is also pretty darn good. In fact, it's a lot better than Earthshaker's initiation, but this will allow them to actually use this Bristleback now, because up till this point, Bristleback has just been farming, which is fine, but eventually you have to use your Bristleback for something other than that, and he will be able to capitalize on his farm with these initiation tools from EP. And MVP, with the soft heroes like the Drow Ranger and Leshrac, although now Bloodstone not exactly that soft, they are going to be prone to initiation.
So let's take a look at item progression really quickly from both teams. We're about 18 minutes in, so looks like we're going to be seeing an Aghanim Scepter sometime soon on Jerax on that Night Stalker. He's roughly 1.6k gold off 1.4k, sorry, maths. Not my favorite subject, but Jerax is going to be getting that very soon.
He's going to get walled off and fingered as well. He grabbed the bounty rune, probably not worth his life, but that's really the sad part about having an Invis rune when you have a Broodmother on your team. They will have detection, the enemy team, almost every single time.
Do you know how much gold Drow was worth? 1.2k gold. It's that one kill.
Cashing in, man. Drow Ranger really can't, I mean, she can afford to die a couple times because MVP are so far ahead, but yeah, wrong place at the wrong time, and now over in the mid lane, Broodmother's going to start cutting the creep wave. There's no backdoor protection here for the tier 1, and well, Bristleback's tanking everything, and it looks like it might just be a free cleanup on a tier 1 Lion. Also, looking for Heen, but with no Finger of Death, not much mana either, he won't be able to get that done. Jerax is going to pop his Darkness. Maybe they're going to look for a fight in the mid lane, but that's not a fight that MVP should be taking.
I think this is actually going to be an okay fight for EP if MVP wants to try and go for this. The heroes are kind of split at this point, but looks like Energy, they're just saying, okay, we can't actually fight into their draft. We're scared that they're going to be grouped up anyway. Oh, Sentry Ward, Sunbee. Will he be spotted? They do see the Spiderlings though. Sunbee's still in the tree line. He's not been spotted out yet, but actually he will be spotted. They don't know he's there. He's on the hill. So it looks like Sunbee will get out safely, but nice bit of gold going in the way of EP.
You have to be very careful about where you send your spiders. Now Sunbee knows that somewhere in that area there is detection, and well, the detection is freaking everywhere in this area for EP. Their sentries are absolutely everywhere. So yeah, the Bruno has to be a little bit careful, but hey, sacrificing a little bit of gold just to get a read on where the detection is, not exactly worth it, but at least you get some sort of side benefit as opposed to just giving the enemies free cash. So MVP, maybe they're just waiting for this Roshan. We don't know the Roshan respawn just yet, but soon enough it will be revealed, and well, then MVP will probably just camp it out, and that will be their prime objective.
I'm surprised it's a much more passive game compared to last game. MVP last game, constant aggression, always ganking EP, always there at the right time, whereas this game, it's really slowed down. We're less than a kill per minute, I guess. It's not as interesting as the first game, but MVP, they're not throwing away their advantage at this point, but they're also giving EP a chance to come back with the PL. But do you think PL by himself is enough to overcome the heroes on MVP if he does get enough farm?
If he does get enough farm, then yes, probably. But that's really the big if. Can he actually get that much farm? This is, you know, a slow and steady play for MVP, which is sometimes what you want to be doing. But at the same time, they're up against a Phantom Lancer. And if Phantom Lancer is able to 5-6 slot, then, well, this bad early game for him is almost going to be, you know, distant memory, and it won't even be relevant at all in this game. So for MVP, maybe they should put on the gas just a little bit. Roshan's going to be respawning in 2 minutes down towards the bottom lane. So going to be getting into a fight up towards top. They also get a fight for Ev's going to hit with the Ice Blast. He's dead immediately. MP is going to come in, perched up, and he's going to get stuck as well. Colty might have actually proc right now. He will get frozen to the floor. Glimmerclape going to save him a little bit of HP. Buyback from the Gyro Ranger though, and MVP charging, looking for someone to kill off Jerax. Going to peel off, go for the Ancient Apparition. He has a TV scroll, but not enough mana. Jerax going to get warded away, in fact, by the Fissure, and he will survive. But I don't know if this Ancient Apparition will. Forev's going to throw a Gust onto Fan. He's going to be just fine. That's the AA. Who's going to try to hide and wait for a TP. Does just enough mana. MP doesn't have a way of canceling this. It's a free kill for EP and a buyback force out. They're going to catch him with the spike as well. Mana drain is there, but suddenly Gust and lightning damage. LT dead in an instant. Lion definitely overstepping his welcome there, but for MVP, it's a 1-for-1, but not a good 1-for-1.
That was a buyback as well on the Drow Ranger. Actually, are they going to reinitiate into this? They really want to try and go for the Drow. Gust is there, and they're going to keep Earthshaker in place, so he will definitely drop down. But Fan, look how quickly he's dropping to all of this damage, and he is by himself. He's going to give his life away. EP misplays, getting a little ahead of themselves.
A little bit too greedy. Like, when you're far behind, you want to be making these high-risk, high-reward plays, just because slow and steady usually isn't going to do it for you, but ending up throwing a couple heroes into the meat grinder. Leshrac is deceptively tanky at this point. He has the Glimmer Cape, which of course gives him invisibility, but also just a lot of inherent survivability. Not to mention 11 Bloodstone, or a Bloodstone with 11 charges, so that's not too shabby either. So MVP, that looked really bad for them, but EP getting a little bit too overeager, and if they just kept their cool, they would be sitting in such a better position right now.
Just getting the kill and the buyback on the Drow Ranger would have been enough. That was a massive hit to Drow's gold pool, but they just give it away again. So essentially Forev, it's not that he didn't lose anything, but it minimized his losses. But it does force the buyback on cooldown. So will EP capitalize on this? I highly doubt it though.
I mean, even if they do kill off the Gyro Ranger again, is there a situation where she will need to buy back in order to like defend Raxes? I don't see EP actually going for that sort of play anytime soon. Especially if Old Chicken dies right now. Here comes Sunbee. He is silenced right now, but hitting Bristleback with a Vanguard from the back, not a good idea. Even with Lina coming in, Laguna Blade can do next to nothing, and now Heen's going to get stunned up. Glimmer is available. He'll try to Glimmer out of there, but the Sentry's on the deck, and Heen is going to get a little bit back up for MP. BKB pops up from Old Chicken, and he's just going to go to town on that Lina. That's one kill for EP. And Old Chicken, for MVP, now know that he's not someone you want to mess with. He has like an infinite amount of HP at this point.
That was also the 10-second BKB charge popped on Old Chicken, so that's the fresh BKB already used for a Lina kill though. I guess it was worth it because it also meant that he wasn't going to die himself, but you got to think about it. Was it really worth it? I don't think he would have died in the process even if he didn't pop that BKB.
I mean, he didn't know where the rest of MVP were. I think that was the correct decision. It's obviously not the play that you want to be making just because 10-second BKB is extremely valuable, but hey, I mean, you get a kill, you don't die. Really, you can't ask for that much more aside from that. But while MVP were, making some space in the bottom lane, soon be pushing that one, they were clearing out Roshan, and Drow Ranger is powerful enough to clear that one out by herself. She also has 2,000 gold, a Blink Dagger for her, so this signals to me that MVP wants to make an aggressive play right now.
And it's going to help Forev with his positioning as well, so he can decide to either get into the fights. If he has a little bit of space, he can blink around, get closer to the targets, get away. I love Blink Daggers on those Drow Rangers, and I don't want to say I like Sniper, but just Blink Daggers on those ranged heroes just to give them some sort of mobility. It's very nice. They really need it.
EP is just surprising for Ev, but lands to cancel the Blink Dagger. That's not really going to happen. Ancient Apparition, Ice Blast, if you're fast with your fingers and fast enough, you can even dodge that. So yeah, Drow Ranger will be able to play the game very far away and let the Night Stalker and the Leshrac take the front lines. Once they take the brunt of the damage, then Forev jumps in, gets into a good position, lands a multiple person gust, and then she just lets loose their damage output. But MVP, they're still playing this game slow and steady. We do see Old Chicken, though, really leading the way in as far as farm is concerned, and Phantom Lancer is actually not too far behind him.
So you had a couple of core item pickups on the side of MVP as well. It was an Aghanim Scepter secured onto Jerax, and we have a BKB on the Broodmother. What do you think about BKB and Brood? He's going to go Aggro Slam onto Sunbee! Oh, the punishment. Looks like they don't like spiders.
Yeah, go for a kill on Lion like that. Usually it's going to happen, but this Lion has a gem and he has an Earthshaker in backup. That is, of course, the dream scenario for an Earthshaker. Spiderlings galore, Broodmother caught in there as well. So it's a pretty nice pick off for the EP side. The question is, will they actually get away with this unpunished? Old Chicken does have a BKB right now, but he's going to get Silent Start things off. Split Earth still being held right now as Heen walks around. Old Chicken's going to pop the BKB, and he will be able to TP out of there safe and sound still. It's the second BKB charge used to not really do anything super offensive. So MVP, it's just a death in the Broodmother. It's something that they probably can absorb.
It was a little bit extra though, because you have to take into consideration there's Brood Spiderlings with that as well. And how many was in that clump?
Too many.
Too many.
You don't want to be giving that many Spiderlings away, and it's, well, Earthshaker just cashing in.
Okay, so back to a passive playstyle from both sides. Actually, we might see a bit of a rotation coming out from MVP. They're poisoning themselves. They want to try and jump onto Bristleback. He's a very tanky target. BKB on cooldown. LSA going to connect onto our Bristleback, but his teammates are nearby. They're going to keep him stun locked. There's the Ice Blast. Going to only connect onto the Leshrac, though. EP, do they want to fight this? Looks like they want to play defensive. Never mind. Old Chicken, he has other plans. He wants Jerax. There's the silence. All of a sudden, your Bristleback is isolated by himself. They will get the kill onto Heen. No, PL is here too. Brood, he wants that line. He wants revenge. And unfortunately, you cannot TP right in front of that Broodmother. LE, he just wants the gem. Oh, that's 3 heroes down for EP. Buyback on the Bristol. They're going to lose Fan as well. PL, that's the main hero on the side of Energy. MVP, all of a sudden taking this game on its head. Not as if they weren't already ahead.
1 for 4, maybe even a 1 for 5. Old Chicken does have a BKB this time, but there are so many heroes here. He's going to try to go for Jerax. TP out. I don't think that's going to do it. Oh, and meantime, they trade for the Earthshaker. They're now Forev getting into a man fight with the Old Chicken. He's going to get slowed down by the Frost Arrows and the Lightning. He's even maimed. And Forev with the Blink Dagger can get right to his front. Not much damage output, but it might be enough. He's trying to get there. It's not going to do it. Everyone on EP are dead, and now Bristleback, he just bought back. He's down for 80 seconds, and this is up against a Leshrac and a Drow Ranger. These structures are not going to last long.
That was the slowest Bristleback I've seen this tournament. He was so close to getting to the base as well.
Warpath? What Warpath? You don't have a Warpath.
So that's going to be the Raxes down for MVP. They managed to get one of the main objectives this game. Oh, they want more. They're not going to stop here. They want to take this bottom T3 tower, but they have to be careful. Heroes are respawning. 4 heroes are up for EP, but no Bristleback. Are they feeling confident, though? They're going to jump right onto the Leshrac, blink forward, and well, Glimmercape going to keep him alive. They're going to jump right onto Broodmother, and he's down before if he has Aegis, so he's actually okay. There's a secondary life. MP's still there, but he's actually half in mana. He's got so many Bloodstone charges. He can actually come in right back into the fight. There's the Gust. Oh, Earthshaker, he's going to go down. Fanny's by himself. He's hidden in the illusions, but they're going to go down, and he's running away from MP at this point. Doppelwalk, it's off cooldown, but Fan, gotta be careful. Oh, he wanted the Drow. He's gonna be so careful. Jerax is gonna come in. He's gonna get punished. EP, they lose their carry yet again.
And with that, they're going to lose a secondary set of Raxes. Fortunately for EP, they still have a tier 2 alive in the top lane, so they're not going to be facing down Megas anytime soon, but Yeah, facing down Mega is one thing. Losing the game through just the throne, that's good enough for MVP. They're just going to let loose the damage that they do have, knowing that EP don't really have that much fighting potential until the pushback does respawn. Has BKB, has LT here in backup as well. Ice Blast is going to be thrown, looking for 4F, will not connect there. MVP take 2 sets of Braxes, a whole slew of kills. Their Drow Ranger lives, their Leshrac lives, and now these heroes are absolutely filthy rich.
Oh, I felt like EP, they just went down the path of greed. They were slowly coming back into the game. It looked like they were actually going to be able to contest MVP. And then just through a couple of greedy kills, it just went downhill from there. And not just downhill, it went all the way down to the bottom of the well.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any more downhill than that, it seems. MVP, it's really just the Blink Daggers, like the Drow Ranger able to call the shots when and where she actually initiates, or, you know, puts herself in danger. And Leshrac obviously just bounced back to the back line of EP, was able to destroy everyone with level 3 Pulse Nova, took pretty much no damage in the process. Really, his only limiting factors is mana pool. He doesn't really have to worry that much about what EP have unless he's caught in like a 5-man Echo Slam, and that should not be happening if MVP play their cards right, and this definitely should not be happening if MP actually catches the Shaker here. He won't, though.
I can't help but feel like 2 is so crucial. He is such an important hero. The Echo Slams, he's had some good Echo Slams this game, but he's going to have another one available very soon. It's actually 3 seconds. Can they turn the fight, though? How many fights do you think EP need to win to equalize the game, considering that they're already Raxes behind?
If we're talking about like 5-0 fights, probably 3 to get in the lead. 2 to equalize, let's say, but yeah, I don't see a 5-0 fight happening in this game. If they do win a team fight, it's going to be like 4-3 or something like that, like a minor win, not like an absolute crushing victory. And you need to get a good Echo Slam to win a fight, but then you have 2 Glimmer Capes on MVP plus a BKB, several BKBs in fact, on them. So yeah, good luck actually making that Echo Slam land, and good luck making it do damage.
So we have 4Rev down the bottom. He's just split pushing the creep wave just to keep the pressure up in EP's base, whereas the rest of his teammates, we've got 2 heroes in the mid lane and Sunbeast, because he's in the mid lane and he's in the top lane, because you're a Broodmother, you can kind of do that with your webs, a lot of mobility. We have Heen as well as MP. They're going to be rocking that top lane of Raxes, and all of a sudden Broodmother gets a kill onto line. They're going to get the A8 as well. So 2 easy picks. Old Chicken's going to try and come and fight MP, but he's by himself. BKB's deployed. He will get it. This is actually detection. He can't find them. Drag gets a PL though in the back lines, and he's actually chasing after the Earthshaker in his own base. Oh, actually, what? Okay.
Earthshaker, yeah, he's going to chill, but Old Chicken in the meantime is actually doing work, or trying to at least. It's a GG call as EP, that was not a 5-on-5 team fight. That was like 5 1v1 team fights, and when the power level of MVP is that high, they really can't afford that. They need numbers advantage every single time if they're going to actually claim a victory, but that was just not going to happen. So MVP close out the series 2-0. I don't get my wish, I don't get the 3rd game, but man, MVP are looking strong and now secured themselves a seat in the grand finals.
I don't want to say they're just strong. They're dominating all of their games.
Especially, like, this one was, oh man, like, the drafts, I think, from EP, a little bit questionable. The supposed core Earthshaker not really doing a ton for the EP side. I mean, it did do eventually a little bit of work, but for a core hero to do that little, if that's your situation for any game, then you're going to be in trouble. Whereas for MVP, pretty much everyone was firing off on all cylinders.